You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to someone who uses AI. Those are the words of Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, the company powering much of today's AI revolution. And honestly, I think he's right. But don't worry, there's still time to catch up. In this video, I'm going to guide you through how to use OpenAI's Codex, one of the most powerful AI coding agents on the market available today. We'll be working hands-on on a project together, and by the end of the video, you'll have created a professional landing page with a fully functional waitlist form that actually links to your Google Sheet. And even if you have never touched a single line of code before, I guarantee that you'll be able to follow along with this beginner tutorial. So let's get into it right now. Before we begin, what exactly is Codex? You're probably already familiar with regular ChatGPT, the web version. You ask it a question, and it replies with a response. But that's about all it can do. Codex, on the other hand, can open an entire project or folder locally on your laptop, create and edit files, install packages, run commands, and even interact with other software, and it builds the whole app for you without you even doing anything. Think of Codex as an AI software developer that works directly inside of your project. You become the project supervisor, and you manage it by telling it what you want. It will then research on the best practices, the best tools to use, and actually help you to actually build the software or automation that you want. So now that you understand how powerful Codex is as an AI agent, let's see how we can utilize it to actually build a working application.
To get started, go to the official Codex website and download the desktop application, link in the description down below. Choose the correct version for your computer, install it like any other normal application, and then open it. Once Codex launches, sign in using your ChatGPT account that already has the Pro subscription. After signing in, you should arrive at this main Codex interface. The exact layout may change slightly over time, but the core workflow remains the same. Now that we have Codex downloaded, let's quickly go through the main parts of the interface. First, you have your projects. A project is simply a workspace in Codex and can be linked to an actual folder on your local machine. It contains all of the files for the website or application that you're working on. Now we move on to chats. Inside each project, you can also create one or more different chats. Chats here work very similarly to those in ChatGPT. You simply type in a prompt in natural language, and the AI will read your prompt and come back with a response to the best of its ability. At the bottom of the page is where you have the prompt box, where you type in your prompt to send to the AI. This is where you communicate with Codex using natural language. At the bottom right, you may also see a model selector. When you click into it, you'll see all of the different models that you'll be able to choose from. Different models may vary in speed and capability. For example, GPT 5.6 Soul has the highest reasoning ability and generally produces the best results. However, it takes the longest to process your requests and is the most expensive as well. Meanwhile, a model like GPT 5.5 may not have the same reasoning abilities, but is much faster and much cheaper as well. Apart from setting the model, you can also set the effort that it takes. The effort here basically represents how much the model will think for. A higher effort will generally result in better outputs, but also consume way more tokens and take a much longer time. As a beginner, I would recommend for you to stick with GPT 5.6 Soul with a medium level effort. You can always change it later once you understand the differences. Finally, we have plugins. Plugins allow Codex to connect to external tools and services. For example, by connecting the Gmail plugin, Codex will be able to read your email inboxes and also automatically reply to emails in your own style. Now that you have a basic understanding of what Codex is and its essential features, we can actually start building something. Firstly, I'm going to create a new empty folder called waitlist landing page. You can place it anywhere on your local computer. Now inside Codex, I'll create a new project. And inside the project, I'll attach it to this local folder that I just created. You can also use Codex with an existing project, but starting with an empty folder makes this much easier. So now that we have connected the folder, Codex now has access to this local folder and can begin creating the website inside of it. Before we start prompting Codex to build the website, let's connect the Google Drive plugin. First, open the plugin section. Search for Google Drive and click Connect. Sign in using the Google account you want to use and approve the required permissions. This allows Codex to access supported files inside your Google Drive, including Google Sheets. There is no need to manually create the Google Sheet yourself. Codex will handle this later using this Google Drive plugin. Okay, now it's time to give Codex our first prompt. Here, your first instinct might be to prompt something like this: build me a website. However, this is where many beginners get it wrong, because the quality of your prompt really matters. If you just give it a weak prompt, Codex will still try to help, but it will have to guess almost everything about the website that you want. A better prompt explains the purpose of the website, how it should look, and exactly which features it needs to build. Here is the prompt that I'm going to use. Build a polished and responsive landing page for an upcoming AI productivity application called Flowy. Use a premium minimalist design with a white background and lavender accents, strong typography, and plenty of white space. Include a navigation bar, a hero section, a short benefits section, as well as an email waitlist form. When a user submits a valid email in the email waitlist form, send it to a Google Sheet together with the submission timestamp. Notice how in the first line, I explain exactly what I wanted to build. In the second line, I then explain the style and feel of the website that I wanted. Then I specified the exact elements that the website should contain. I then ended off with the actual user flow of submitting their email and logging it in a Google Sheet. And now I'll send the prompt off to Codex. Codex is now examining the empty project and deciding how to build the website. It creates the required files, installs any packages it needs, and begins implementing the design and code of the website. You can follow its progress directly inside the chat, and you'll also be able to see which files it is changing and which commands it is running in the side panel that opens up. Depending on your permission setting, Codex may ask before running certain commands or modifying particular files. This is for security purposes. Always be sure to read what Codex is requesting before approving it. You don't need to understand every line of code, but you should still understand the general action being performed. Codex has now finished the first version and provided a summary of what it has changed. Let's open the website now. Here is the first version of our landing page. You already have a navigation bar, hero section, benefits section, and a waitlist form. The page is also responsive, so it adapts to different screen sizes. However, the first result doesn't need to be perfect. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is trying to create the entire final product with one enormous prompt. Codex works much better when you treat the first result as a draft. Review what it created, identify certain elements that you want to improve on, and then continue the conversation by iterating and asking Codex to change that thing. For example, if I wanted to change the lavender accents to a baby blue accent, all I'd have to do is go into the chat and ask Codex to do exactly that. Change the lavender accents to a baby blue color. Codex will then go through the code base and update only the relevant files. This is the core Codex workflow. Be detailed in your prompts, review what Codex has created, and then iterate and repeat. Now we need to make the waitlist form actually send emails to the Google Sheet. Codex here also has given us the exact steps that we need to take in order to manually implement this. So let's do it now. It first tells us that we need to create a Google Sheet. However, because we installed the Google Drive plugin, we can also prompt Codex to actually create the Google Sheet for us. We can do this by opening the prompt window, selecting the @ sign, and then we search for Google Drive. And you should be able to select the Google Drive plugin. After that, simply tell it to create a Google Sheet to receive the emails. Once Codex has successfully created the Google Sheet, you should be able to see that it actually created it inside your Google Drive. Now we can move on to the next step. Open the Google Sheet that Codex created. Then select Extensions and App Script. Delete the default code and paste in the script generated by Codex. You should also be able to find this in your Codex chat. Next, select Deploy and then New Deployment. Choose Web App as the deployment type. Set the script to execute using your Google account and choose the appropriate access setting for your project. For this public landing page demonstration, the endpoint needs to accept submissions from website visitors. Click Deploy and approve the requested permissions. Google will now give you a web app URL. Make sure you copy the URL ending in exec. Now return to Codex and send this follow-up prompt. Here is the deployed Google Apps Script web app URL. Then paste your URL here. Connect the waitlist form to this endpoint. Codex will now use the URL and integrate it with our codebase, such that when users fill in the form with their email, it will then log it in our Google Sheet. Okay, so now let's test out the final results. When I enter a valid email in the waitlist form, the button changes to a loading state, and then we receive a success message. Now let's check our Google Sheets. And there it is, the email address has been added as a new row together with the submission time. We've now created a complete working landing page without manually writing a single line of code ourselves. Codex created the interface, implemented the form, generated the Google Sheets integration, ran the project, and then improved on the design based on our feedback. And that's everything you need to know to start using OpenAI Codex. The basic workflow for any project is simple and follows these three main steps. First, create a local folder on your laptop and connect it to a Codex project. Secondly, describe exactly what you want Codex to build. Make sure to be detailed and include all of the key features of your app or automation that you need to be inside. Lastly, review all the changes that it makes and iterates over the things that you want to be changed. Congratulations! You now know enough to start using Codex today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this video where I cover more advanced Codex techniques and concepts which will supercharge your development.